Well, welcome everybody. Another day. We get no Funko Pops today, so I can actually get in and get towards Jakar, hopefully in a good time. Well, freaking Java update, always notify me. You know what, I was recording the audiobook. I got interrupted probably like 23 out of the 27 times because there's a Java update, and it it threw me off my mojo every single time, and I was scared that it got caught by the microphone. Now, you might just say the obvious thing, which is, but WP, why not just disable the notification? The thing is, I would in the earlier batches, and then I'd come back to the project like later, and it would be back. And anyway, the back half of the book, which I did all, really recently, I just didn't disable it for that time. So yeah, it must have got me like 7 times, something like that. Really annoying. Nani, yesterday was 53, and today's 54. Did I sleep a month? WTF? Was yesterday 53 really, and today's 54? Jerry, I see you sub so often. Is it possible to sub more regularly than once a month? I feel like you sub so much. Maybe it's just because I've read it 54 times in my life now. But there it is, another 54. Anyway, so yeah, hey guys, let's get in game. And let's get up, start progressing some Drakar. Getting really close now to having most of the major stuff in the patch done, which is pretty nice. Let's see who we got. We've also got Mr. Swifty, who just subbed for 8 months. Sorry, I haven't been to a stream in a while. Life, of course, but happy to be back and excited for this new chapter and endeavor you've undertaken. Thanks very much, Mr. Swifty. I really appreciate that. It's good to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. We got Darg, we got Benji. Lots of red names at the moment. Rogalicious. We are watching a gatekeeping elitist after... Why am I a gatekeeping elitist, exactly? Rogalicious, you keep coming out with, like, shitty comments about me. Like, every stream, you're just shitty about me. Are you just here to slowly wear me down, or do you actually enjoy what you watch? Like, every stream without fail, there's something smarmy and rude you've said about me. It's never like, in the middle of an atmosphere of general jokiness. It's just being a knob. Anyway, yeah, hello to you. Hello, Ty, as well. Hello, Reds. Ty says, hey, WP, I ordered my anthology. Hey, awesome. I'm glad you... Was it you that asked me the other day what it was that I'd bought? I was kind of surprised I got that question, to be honest, because the idea of thinking of it as an actual product, it's kind of beside the point almost. But yeah, I'm glad you bought it. I quite liked it. The case was quite well made. Nice materials. You know, if you're going to buy something... And I know that sounds arbitrary and stupid, but if you're going to buy something physical these days... I do have a squad, by the way, here, guys. And I'll appear online. I feel like you kind of are doing it for stuff like that, right? Because if you can just own it digitally, and I did already own it digitally. First 2 games are free. I already had a copy of Morrowind from like years ago. Now that wasn't a digital copy. Do I have digital Morrowind? Wow, I don't have Steam up here to check. But I've got like 3 copies of Oblivion. And of course I bought Skyrim on Steam when it came out. So that one I never had a physical individual disc, I don't think. And then I bought the anthology afterwards. So, Rocker just raided with 22 people. Thank you so much. Dusty says, now you know how I feel. I'm sorry, Dusty. I'll endeavor to be a better person. I've been nice to you for like months now, don't you think? You mentioned the other day you were having a hard time, and I don't want to be mean to someone who's having a hard time, you know? We were doing satirical gatekeeping for real spuds. I'm not sure if that was aimed at you. But you know you're a real spud once WP calls you out. Oh, okay. So it was that joke from the other day. My stream needed a 20 viewer push. Thanks very much, Rocker. Well, the big thing that I really need to start doing these fucking streams is hosting people at the end. As you guys know, I don't like hosting people that really already have audiences. I don't think they deserve it or need the extra push a lot of the time. But I'll happily host like new people on the block. So I need to start watching for that more. And I was about to say I'd host Rocco, but I think he's always in Fun Fantasy lately, so I'm not sure he'd even want it necessarily. But yeah, I'm not in the right habit at the moment. I'm definitely going Permeating Wrath these early phases. No one's on the map right now. It's a bit scary. That's either a very good thing or a very bad thing. I guess we'll see in a moment. Breaking out of combat is proving to be a complete pain in the ass. Alright, so quick swap. We'll go Glacial Heart. Oh, what the fuck did I do with my mantras? Oh, no. That wasn't me. That's when you swap virtues on and off, it kills all your mantras for some reason. There we go. There's the big 16k on everything in the goddamn group. That's what I like to see. Still haven't really optimized with my scepter, though. I got to change this for something else. Sword, probably. Don't host you. You have nothing to offer. Well, I don't know. It depends if we, over the coming months, people might be a little bit more interested in Final Fantasy 14. I have no plans to play FF14 in the coming months, but long enough term, you know. Yeah, Boots uploaded a video last night. Yes, that's true. Hey, and Benji, if you've got the link, I'll definitely link to that. I gave him a like on Twitter. I was going to retweet, but I think I fucked it up, or I didn't last night. He has a video. It's a pretty simple, clean little video about combo fields. I think it's the kind of thing that the scene needs. I'm really happy to see what he got out, and he made something like that. It was very cool. Very cool indeed. So yeah, you guys should totally check it out. Yeah, without more people, this might be really hard. It looks like it definitely has a pretty high floor for minimum scaling. God, the sounds of the portals are awful though. They're really, really, really nasty. Oh, why did I do that? Looking at chat and just muscle memoried. I think I was like a second too early. You doubt people would be desperate enough to watch mount farming in unsynced? Sorry, what is that? I'm lost on that. Yeah, there you go. There's the link. Benji should have been able to post it, right? Because he's a sub. Subs can post links. I used to let everyone, but we had bots, so we had to kind of stop it. We can go much further. I have to say, by the way, guys, today's stream might be a little bit shorter today. Just because there's a lot of other things I'm excited about. It's the start of a new week, so I really want to do very well next week on Monday. Tomorrow on Monday and pushing forwards. I'm still not sure exactly what I want to focus on next week. I feel like everything's fair game. I feel like doing the Guild Wars 2 LP is a really good idea at the moment. To just keep that bedrock of Guild Wars 2 content going. I mean, I have videos up until March, so maybe it's not that crazy. But, like, what I want to do is a Guild Wars 2 week where I make maybe more Shadow in the Ice videos for people, right? Tomorrow, I think I'm going to make one of those a priority. And then maybe the Ghost of Ascalon review towards the end of next week. I don't know. Anyway, so I really want to do that. But then I also really want to focus on getting more of the Elder Scrolls stuff done. I want to finish the arena playthrough, and then I can start focusing on, like, non-LP videos about arena, which I'm excited to see how people take to those and whether they'd like them. But, you know, I'll need a week to get there. So do I do that next? Or do I maybe go for some... I've come up with some rudimentary ideas about maybe doing, like, more generic MMO stuff. But again, I'd need a week for that as well. So I've got, like, fucking 4 or 5 different things. It's like, which do I want to put at the front of the line? Which one's most important? And I really don't know right now. I need to remember to spam the special action, because that is actually still one of the achievements I need, as we talked about yesterday. So yeah, after this stream, I'm gonna have to really figure that out, because obviously Monday is tomorrow. Oh, there we go. Catalyst and Spirits. We get a mastery point for that as well. I like getting these, even if only it just means that the stuff will get cleaned off of my UI. So far, people have been pretty positive. If you guys don't know, by the way, there's actually been 2 videos since the last stream. There was the Guild Wars 2 LP, and then this morning, so about 14 hours after the Guild Wars 2 LP went up, I put up the video about like all the ex-ArenaNet talent and what they're up to in terms of studios and things you might want to keep your eye on. So I did that video. That was now about 10 hours ago. So then you've got the stream with me now, and then at the end of the stream, you're going to have... The video today's a bit shit, so I'm hoping that the rest of the stuff's good. Today, finally, is the Patreon update. So this will be when I finally see whether I can turn money around in a big way. I mean, a lot of people have supported already, and that's really cool to see. But I'll put that video up, and it's not really content. It's like non-content. I've been scared to do it so close to the channel update, because that was also non-content. So, yeah, I'll put that up, and then I'm just kind of hoping that the fact we had all this other stuff in the past 36 hours is good enough for people. I'd rather this stream be full length, but I just don't think I'm going to make it, because I've got a lot of drive work to do in a minute. On top of what I just said earlier. Of course, I can go back to ignoring my special action now. You may want to wait to post more generic MMO stuff. While a lot of people are very happy, perhaps it would feel like you're just becoming a trend following... No, I'm never going to do that. I'm not just going to... believe me, I'm well aware of all those concerns, alright? Listen. I like the advice, guys, but you got to understand. I've thought very long and hard about people's perception of me and all that kind of stuff, right? Like I am considering that stuff, and I would never turn my channel into some BS. Oh, so here's this thing I don't really care about, but there was this little bit of news, and I saw it got a lot of tweets, so I'm assuming there's viewership, so I'm just going to talk about it. Give me your money, please. Ad revenue, please. I'm never going to be that. I'm only going to talk about stuff I'm actually interested in. And therefore, hopefully, I can show you why I am. That's not going to change at all. Also, yeah, I tried out the past couple of videos a little, like, lower third that says, please remember to like the video or dislike it. And I used the word please because I just thought it was polite. But I had a comment last night saying that it looked really tacky. And like I was begging because I was saying, please. So I've tweaked that. I don't want to look tacky. So I've got rid of it, basically, the word please. I've rephrased it a bit. I've been a bit more like assertive with it. I've just said remember to rate the video or something like that. And I'll try to make it a little bit less prominent on screen, a bit smaller. The only reason it's as big as it is, honestly, is because the original graphic I used is so large that even at a minimum standard crop size, it wouldn't go any smaller. So I have to, like, redo that. But, yeah, so hopefully that's all right. That is the only comment, but I am a bit sensitive about that, so I'll tweak it. Yeah, begging for likes. I never want to be seen as begging for likes. Not really. It's already done. Don't worry, Mr. Swifty. It's already done. You're excited to unbox it as you're a collector of things like that. Does it come with more than the 5 games, like any extras? You know, even though I'm covering the stuff now, I haven't actually looked at the physical box. I haven't got it off the shelf or anything. Might be worth doing a little, little unboxing of it or something. I don't know. Why is this back up? I have the achievement, right? I guess that happens many times in the game, really. Eligibility returns, even though you've already qualified. I haven't pulled it off the shelf, so I can't really remember. It's definitely not as cool as the initial collector's editions, right? Like, I talked about getting the Septim, the gold Septim with Oblivion. Let me just be clear. I think I phrased that in a kind of a weird way. People seem to still think I have the coin. My exact message was, I still remember getting the coin. I remember that the coin exists. I do not still have the coin. The coin is actually super rare, and if you try to buy one on eBay, they're like 50, 60 quid. Seriously, because not that many people were into buying video game collector's editions at the time, and it was this small, easily lost thing. So yeah, anyone who still owns a Septim, it's a rarity, really. I do not own a gold, well, there was gold, was it? But I don't own a Septim, a real life one. I never bought Skyrim Collector's Edition. I don't know what they gave you with that. Wasn't it a statue of Alduin? I'm not as into statues as most gamers, I think. I don't know, what do you guys think? Statue, like, I was never that into the Ritlock statue, necessarily. I think the Chinese merch and the Chinese collector's edition is amazingly interesting, and I'd still love to get my hands on any of that. But I'm into, like, trinkets more than anything else. Like, the idea of the coin is way more interesting to me than anything else. So, I don't know. Ritlock's the only one you have. You gotta remember, both Guild Wars 2 and Skyrim came out really close to each other. Skyrim slightly predates it. When I was Let's Playing Eye of the North, I went to a convention to play Guild Wars 2, a UK gaming convention, and they had Skyrim demos and stuff there, as well as the Guild Wars 2 demo stations. And I think ArenaNet should be very proud to look back and reflect on the fact that people seem just as excited about the Guild Wars 2 stuff as the Skyrim stuff at that time, like in terms of queues and whatever. Felt to me anyway. They clearly had less money and a smaller booth and whatever, but yeah. I'll tell you what, I am pretty bored of Drakkar. We've got to get some good discussion for this, because this is actually quite boring at this point. You definitely recommend taking some time to look at enabling bits. You can give emotes. Yeah, well, look, we'll do the Patreon phase tonight, right? We'll see who joins Patreon. And if that goes okay, brilliant. If it doesn't go as well as I'd really like and hope, you know, as in I'm still going to have to move by the end of the year or whatever, then what I'll do is I'll look much closer at Twitch And probably I'll do another closer look at Patreon again. One big thing I don't want to do is like sell my friendship. I'll talk more about it in the video, but people like really, a lot of people see Patreon as this place where it's like another area to communicate with me. It's another area to like, oh, if I give WP this support, he's bound to have a conversation with me about X, Y, and Z. And they're just, you know, they're looking for that. And look, I'm not selling companionship here, you know. That's not what I really want to do. I want to do stuff that everyone can enjoy and that will grow things in general. And I think I've really let a lot of people down over the years because they go to Patreon thinking it's like some way in or whatever, and I'm just like very hands off with it. I don't really use the community boards and stuff like that. So in today's video, I'm just kind of saying to people, look, don't see it that way, please. But if I literally, if it doesn't do, if today's video people just hate because they're like, can you stop talking about yourself, blah blah blah, stop e-begging, all that kind of shit. If that happens, I mean, I might have to start doing it. I don't know. I really hope not. I'm trying to have a bit of, trying to stick to my guns as best I can, as much as the world will allow me to so far. But yeah, so what can we talk about? Yeah. If it doesn't go well, I'll definitely be looking much closer at Twitch. I'll figure out what this bits thing is and stuff like that. Yeah, figure out. One very simple thing I wanted to do on Twitch since last year when Cho was helping out was I wanted to close the streams with like an overlay, like a scene. I died there because I took both my hands off the keyboard and mouse in order to gesture to you guys. I wanted to have like a scene at the end that would show everyone who like donated or subbed or followed that day. So you actually get a bit of a platform and I don't miss anything. But it's just never set up. So that's one thing I'd like to do. That was like a 2019 ambition, seriously. That's an oldie. I just did a shit job. Still doing a shit job. How many days before I give the Patreon video to pull in new patrons before looking at other stuff? I don't know. This stuff happens in like waves, right? Like if I put the video out, people will probably watch it over the next week. Probably the first 48 hours, I'll know whether anything's happening. And then there'll be some people a little bit later. Like the channel update already did. Some people came to Patreon. And the most people that came to Patreon was like in the first day or two. And still every now and then, like during the day, it'll be like, oh, this person's like joined. And I can look at the little notification. Like I said, well, I don't know whether I said that yet, but it's my homepage now. Patreon is like literally my homepage. So I see it all the time. And because I feel really dumb for letting it get as low as it did and all that stuff. So anyway, I'll see the little thing and it'll be, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like if I could go there right now. Oh, am I logged in upstairs? Let me have a look. No, I'm not logged in. But I'll see like blah, blah, blah has joined up for $1 or blah, blah, blah has joined up for $5 or whatever. And so, yeah, I would expect the same will happen with this video too, but like a bit more because it's more specific. I think the main channel update barely skirted around the topic of Patreon. And this one is actually entirely about it. Did anything come of the Elder Scrolls video that got copyright struck? No, I got some advice from Magical Mike to contest it or whatever. But the specific section that got copyright struck was the Skyrim song. I don't know whether that's someone falsely doing that or what, but I have to say I kind of get it, right? That's like a seriously iconic soundtrack. I uploaded the video early, and I knew that the copyright strike was there. If I really, really cared, I would have pulled it and changed that whole montage sequence. But I liked the little montage I made. I thought it was pretty cool, you know? So I left it. I just thought, look, this was my original vision, artistically, whatever, so I'll just do it. And I left it there. It doesn't really matter, guys. You shouldn't listen to me whining about ad revenue and all this stuff. I really, really, really hope that once this video's done this weekend, I stop with all this nonsense, because this is like, especially on the streams, like, I'd rather talk about, I don't know, design and shit, or completely weird stuff that I'm out of my depth on than this. Like, really, I don't like it. I come away from every stream lately feeling insecure that I've just, you know, been too self-aggrandizing and egocentric and stuff. But basically, advertisement revenue and people claiming my videos. But we're not a big community, all right? We're really not. So it doesn't really matter too much. You guys probably hear it a lot on YouTube and on the internet. Oh, they're claiming my stuff. Because you're watching YouTubers that get like 300k a day or more, right? And yeah, there's some actual money to be made if you're getting 300,000 people watching a video every day. I'm not, you know, I'm not even really a tenth of that anymore. For a while, I think I was, but I'm not even there anymore. So, you know, come on. Am I gonna whine and beg for pity over losing like what, $5 or something? No. Just let it be. That's kind of how I feel for now. Thanks. I like the montage too. Thought it was pretty good. Yeah, the Patreon drive is only for $20. Yeah. It used to be 25. I dropped it, and I just lost money on that. So yeah. Was Guild Wars 2? Here we go. Here's a real story. It's Darg. By the way, Darg, I know you looked at more thumbnails, and I kind of wanted to do the most recent video with your new thumbnail, Darg, but I just never got around to it. Today, one of the things I want to do after this stream and after I figured out what I'm doing next week is look at your messages and sort that out as well. Moving on, was Guild Wars 2 better with a circular minimap? Discuss. Well, I think that when they stopped it being a circular minimap, they should have stopped calling it the compass. Like, you know the recent update calls it the compass still? That's clearly like an internal term that they've been using for this. It doesn't look like a compass in any way anymore. It used to, when it had like, when it was circular and it had cardinal directions. And, you know, that design was influenced from the Guild Wars 1 setup. That, in that way, it looked like a compass. It doesn't anymore. So, yeah, I think they should have renamed it. But I remember very clearly when we noticed they'd made that change. That change came in right around the same time as the dodge bar moved from being on the right-hand side with your boons and buffs to curving over the health orb. They were, like, very similar, those two updates. I actually have a Guild Wars 2 LP series. Speaking of the drive, I think it's on the Patreon drive. An alpha series. Maybe Dark can confirm that or something. But it's I have a series playing really early where it was still a circular compass. I remember when that happened at the community notice, most people were saying the square was better. And ArenaNet obviously made an active decision to change away from a circle into a square. And the arguments mostly, and this was the community's argument, I assume ArenaNet's perspective was the same. It's that you just get more space, right? All these corners, that's just being arbitrarily cut out to create a circular design. So this is more functional, basically, is the idea. So therefore, how can you argue against it? I think that the idea of a circular minimap versus a square minimap or compass, I like the idea of a circular one now, simply because it's different. Like that's something I feel about a lot of things in Guild Wars. When I look at a lot of interesting older experiences with the game, like the energy potions and all that kind of stuff, I would be happy to play it and curious to see it, just because it's like an alternate experience to what I'm used to. Not necessarily that that's a logical, real reason for it to be better. It's just, you know, we seek out difference. That's all. You know, it's just a shake-up. So, do that. Come on, guys. Jesus Christ. I think I can get another Axe 2 on him in a second. You guys want to shuffle around and get the orbs during that phase. Get some more special actions. Yeah, you can make this auto-rotate as well. I don't often use it. I used to get complaints in my videos about it, so I don't. There you go. Toggle rotation. People don't like that. There's a lot of things I'd probably be doing with the product more if it wasn't for the fact that over the years, people have been upset about it in the comments. You can get this brick bar if we really want. Same with like reshade. Like I always liked heavier contrast, darker reshade setups. Really. I know that sounds weird, but I really do. But people are very, very, very critical of your reshade, so you have to keep it kind of like neutral. The only reshade update I've been interested in doing for ages now is Tekit's new one. Was the circular one a beta thing? I don't think it was in the betas. I think it was in the press beta. They basically had like a whole like pre-beta beta just for prominent Twitch, well, YouTubers, not Twitch streamers, YouTubers at the time. And people they thought that would, you know, give a bit of good word of mouth or whatever. And so, yeah, during that, I think it was still circular. But by the first actual beta, I think it became square. Well, I'm not calling it an alpha because... Oh, by the way, I've been fucking virtues the whole time. That probably pays off now, but for most of the fight, it hasn't been. I'm really, really careful with my Axe 3. I can probably keep the AoE value rolling. Get a lot of packets. Genuine, honestly though, I'd rather be in Radiance again. Anyway, I'm not calling it an alpha because it wasn't substantially different, and it wasn't a substantially long period of time before the actual betas themselves. It's like the press one happened, and maybe 2 weeks later, it was all the other betas. And I think they called it press beta. They never called it press alpha. So I mean, if anyone's going to dictate what it is, surely the devs are allowed to do that more than us. Every little helps. Tesco. All right, there's a good Tesco promotion there. You know, I'm sad, guys. Do you remember the stream the other day? Someone said, "Do you have an email I can link you for like a brand deal or something?" Do you remember that? And then I went on to talk about what kind of brand deals I'd do or wouldn't do. I never got a message in the end, so I'm assuming that whoever that was, in the end decided against it. But yeah. Tesco is just one of many supermarkets available. Wow, Ty, that's really weird. I don't like that you know that story. That's like a real life story to me. That's really weird. I don't like that. When did I last talk about that? Why do you still know that? Do you know what that reminds me of, Ty? There's a YouTuber, like an interview guy, that goes to celebrities and does interviews with them, except he really does his research on them early on. And he'll find out, like, their favorite flavor of crisps or whatever. And in the interview, he'll say, "So, is your favorite packet of crisp flavor still salt and vinegar?" Or whatever. And it'll, like, blow their minds. They'll be like, "How do you know that?" Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's how you just made me feel. Ty asked me, "Is the coconut you once had in Dubai on a hot summer day still the best thing you've ever had to drink?" All right, let me phrase it differently. It's the most refreshing thing I've ever had to drink. And it was amazing. And yes, I would still say, you know, if you asked me, if I fell down dead tomorrow and I was at the pearly gates and they said, "All right, what was the tastiest thing you ever drank?" that would probably be the story, the main story. People that didn't hear it before, basically this is a desert country or emirate, and it was very hot, and I'd done a lot of walking along these beaches and these nice areas, and I was a bit thirsty as you get, and I was bought a coconut. I'd never eaten coconut before, and this fucking thing, it tasted, when they cracked into it, the liquid on the inside felt like it had just come out of a freezer or something. Like, I'm not joking. Like, it tasted so cold and just beautiful. Oh my god. It was so refreshing. I basically gulped it down in like 2. It was so delicious. It was like slightly sweet, but it was so cold. Oh. That was like... I mean, I don't really go... Since I started doing this job, I haven't been on holiday abroad. I've been abroad, like with going out to do the POF thing and the post-show, but that wasn't a holiday, really. It was like 2 days while I was looking at Guild Wars stuff, which was fun and amazing. I kind of experienced it like a holiday, but the actual idea of going somewhere for leisure, pure leisure, going to beaches and shit, I haven't done that since I started. I've been doing this for 10 years now, so I haven't actually done that for 10 years. So it was at least 10 years ago. And I can still taste it. Really. I can still remember it so clearly. It's probably earlier than 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm going to get eaten by a dog, don't worry. Oh, do you know what I should have done? I should have stayed in. I should have stayed in and used the combat break to my advantage. Oh, you just heard it in a random PvP stream from 2018. Alright, well, there you go. 2 years, we can recycle that content, right, guys? There's someone watching the VOD or someone silently in chat right now. Just like, I fucking heard this story before. Recycled content. Sorry to you. I'm sorry I'm not an interesting enough person that I haven't got a new anecdote about a lovely, delicious, refreshing drink for you as of today. Was it a Tesco brand coconut? They don't have Tesco out there. Actually, no, I don't. Dude, I really loved going there, you know. It was a really interesting place. Half the city was like a construction site, but because they were just doing so much and changing so much. I don't know what it's like now, but it felt really wealthy in some ways, you know. So many of like the malls and shopping centers and stuff were so new. Everything just felt really shiny and really like cool, and everywhere just like smelt a bit different, and the weather was so amazing. It was very, very, very interesting experience. I don't regret going at all. It was really good. Even though you hear all these horror stories, you know, like about holiday makers getting caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then they haven't got insurance or the right protections, all this kind of stuff. But I thought it was really, really good. I was very, very pleased with it. I still think about it very frequently. If I was rich, there's 2 things I'd do with my money. 1, I would fund the development of the MMO of my dreams. All right. And 2, I'd go back there and I'd go to like that really, really expensive hotel, because that would be like the crowning jewel of opulence and wealth in a place that I already sort of got a big sense of it. I'll buy Funko Pops. Probably would not buy Funko Pops, no. Actually, I would. Well, I did that when I'm poor, so whatever. Ew, I just call myself poor. Gross. Please do not crowdfund me a holiday. Please, that is kind of a weird thing, you know, because if Patreon ever does turn around, I don't know, I feel like because that doesn't go directly into work. I don't know, these are all things I felt when I first joined the platform. It's all weird, isn't it? It's all strange. It's like a certain obligation to, you know, have that money turn into something people will enjoy, you know. So you don't get to spend personal things on it. That's why I need a sugar daddy. Yeah. If all fails, guys, alright, if I can't do it, if like 2 years from now we're on the edge, right, we're on the precipice, I'll give you some low cut shirt streams just in case I get a sugar daddy. And then after that, I'm afraid it's on to the mists with me, and we'll be saying goodbye forevermore. That'll be my last resort. There you go, they broke that. That's awesome. Well done, guys. Hot, now I want you to fail. If you went back to the same place, not the same time, a few years from now, and you drink the same drink and it tastes terrible, would you feel your prior memory had lost its value? Wow, that's also a really good question. I think I would, but I wouldn't want to feel that way. Oh, my debuff out, so we can, in theory, do it again. Oh, that's not the right gate. I don't know what gate everyone went in. No, this is the right gate. I think I would feel like it had lost value. I think the newer experience would somehow take precedence over the prior. And maybe that's wrong of me. I think I would still fondly cherish it, though. I mean, I understand memories as a thing where it's like, you know, you have lots of memories and you have lots of information in your mind, but if you don't access it regularly, it will become more and more closed off. You know, there'll be less synapses, whatever they are, neural pathways. There'll be less, like, points of access to it. Less things will prompt you to think about it than they might have before, and eventually, like, it's just kind of gone, right? So I feel like if people are asking, it might be, what I'm trying to get in a roundabout way of saying it, it might be that the only reason I still remember it so clearly is I've talked about it a couple of times. And maybe in the recollection, after my new sour experience, maybe my recollection would be different. Maybe it would be like, you know, it would always be tied to the disappointment of the second time. And so the whole thing gets dragged down. Until eventually the initial story is forgotten. I don't know, maybe. Just guessing here. Swasheen, thank you very much for the sub. Really appreciate that. Dusty says, I can get you a job at the stable. It's honest work, but the pay is shit. I was reading, literally, unironically, I was reading a thread on Reddit yesterday about misconceptions, right? Things that people think true, but actually aren't, you know? Like, and most of it was kind of common stuff that you hear in random factoids and trivia things all the time. But one of them was a guy went on and he said, hey, I'm a janitor for a living, and there's a misconception that janitor is like a low rung in society and poorly paid job and stuff. Custodians are actually really well respected and we get a lot of money for what we do, and I'm really happy. That was one of the things, and it was really highly upvoted. And I was like reading it, I was like, all right, maybe I should get into janitorial work. Let's see about this. But as I read through the thread, everyone was like, this is bullshit. I get paid nothing. I'm a janitor. What are you talking about? It might just be like some specific countries. I believe maybe the sense I was getting is that possibly in Canada, if you choose to be a janitor, the pay's not bad quite often. And people are genuinely really nice. But in other countries, the UK, the US, I think it's, you know, it's generally, it's got a pretty low batting average, let me put it that way. But I had a little moment where I was dreaming of just, you know, mopping the floors during the nights and then coming home and trying to make YouTube videos with whatever time left on in the day. You're already in janitorial work, cleaning up the mess that is the Guild Wars 2 community. I don't think I've been actively trying to change the prevailing winds of the community for a while now. I mean, I do speak up, obviously, when I disagree. And the most recent occurrence of that would be... There was a really recent one. What was it? Like, literally, it was this year, I think. I remember because I was getting told I was out of touch or something. We were ranting about it, probably, like, early January. What was it we did? I can't remember the subject. I really can't. Anyway, yeah, but in general. How much can one man do? Okay, cool. So that's another Drakkar. I did get a ding, but I think that was just daily. You'll notice my inventory is even cleaner now, and I have almost 400 gold. Because I accepted, like, 50 off of the trading post earlier. I noticed that my Vicious Claws, T5 claws, were capped in my bank. That means I had 2,000 of them from playing the game and just getting them randomly dropped. I had 2,000 fucking things. So I sold, like, 4 stacks. I had a rhyme-rimmed box as well that I sold, like another one of those helmets. Got 2 gold from that. There was loads of little things I was selling. I just sold and sold and sold. And all of a sudden I had that. Which was pretty good. The press conference? No. The press... My coverage of the press conference was largely aligned with the hive mind, I would say. People generally were disappointed with it, and I generally was disappointed with it. I have to say. I'd have to look back at my recent uploads, but the problem is my channel is super heavy on the uploads at the moment. They're just all private and unlisted, and you can't see them. So I'd have to scroll through several pages. I can't really be bothered. PSO2 looks good. What's PSO2? Oh, Phantasy Star Online 2. Seems it's closed beta, and people are digging it. That's cool, yeah. I saw that on an MMO list earlier. Build templates, yeah, I was a little out of alignment. Yeah, for sure. But that's still not what I'm thinking about. That's a bit older. A little bit. Now, there is a light puzzle. I just can't remember where it starts. I'd really like to do it. We've got to do it 3 days. Does anybody want to give me a little clue as to where I start the final light puzzle that I still don't currently have? It's one of the big ones out in the... I'm really annoyed that I never made that jump. That's irritated me way more than it should have. It's out in the new area of the map. It's in the open areas, not in any of the rooms, and it's not the one that takes you very back to the start that I've done on the recent streams. That's the one that I'm missing. I'm sure it starts somewhere near here. It incorporates most of this area of the map, but it's not that I found it. Or is that the end? I think I've just found the end of it. Damn it. I need to install Guild Wars 2 Radial up here, for goodness sake. Is this the start? No, I found it. Alright, never mind. Okay, I'm going to do this twice more. I did it day 1. This is the second time, and then tomorrow we'll probably grab it again. What's kind of cool tomorrow as well, in case people are getting a little bit bored of all the Drakkar stuff, what's kind of cool tomorrow is we will be getting back to the Strike mission, which will update, obviously, because it's Sunday. Thanks very much for the little bit of advice there, dog. Appreciate it. Don't start that whole thing again about the mountain hotkeys. Yeah, I saw the advice. There you go. That's where I've been out of alignment recently. Guild Wars 2 has really bad mount access. And I'm just being oblivious to the hotkeys. There's not enough keys on the whole keyboard for all the stuff. Well, the idea is you use modifiers. For me, it's difficult to use modifiers because I have left control and shift on generic actions in the game. So the only modifier I can use is alternate. Even alt I use alt for about face. They're just such useful buttons that I ended up binding them for cool shit like jumping and about facing. And shift as well. I was going to say shift I press for pinging stuff, but that's not really. Did I know I can set up hotkeys for mounts? Don't make me come at you, Dosty. In all seriousness, yes. Did you ever manage to kill the bug skinner? No, we did a couple of attempts, and since it was bugged, I decided to focus on more important stuff. I'm glad you managed to do it, though, William. I'm reading the rest of your message. That's really cool. Maybe you should do actual raids, then. When you took a look at the balance patch, you felt hope, Dusty. You mean the competitive patch upcoming? Oh, you do actual raids. Oh, okay. So the point here is, have you ever done progression? Have you ever done progression raiding? Have you ever done it with a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing and actually learned it together and discussed strategies and figured things out and thought for yourself? Or do you just copy what other people are doing and then nothing else? Because literally, I kind of cringe at the idea of just copying what other people's strats are. Like, what the fuck is the point? But that's what a lot of people's raiding experience is, unfortunately. Oh, wow, hold on. That was my third. I guess, when the hell did I do the other one of that? Alright, I'm a fool. I just have it done, I guess. That's pretty cool. Okay, so, I still haven't done either of these. Destabilize the champions and plant banners. I mean, what the hell? Well, I just had a weird sound. My PC up here is making some weird noises. And I'm a bit worried that its cooling is going all over the place. Break the defiance of the fallen voice and the fallen claw. That's got to be in the mission, right? Oh, I know what the weird noise is the rain. It's been like a monstrously apocalyptic day today. Black, dark skies, pouring, searing hail rain. It's nasty. Oh, I did it yesterday. I didn't even realize your stomach's making weird noises. I've already eaten today, so I'm alright. We don't have to turn it into a food stream. I still need to do another Trial of Coda event. Well, 6 more of them. Hopefully I can just find those around the map. Like, there's one here. Yesterday after I did Drakkar, I don't think it was on stream, but I think I was maybe recording. Yeah, I was definitely recording something. What was I recording yesterday? Anyway, there was a Trial of Coda there, and I couldn't figure out how to get to it. It must have been like in some deep-ass cave somewhere that I just have absolutely no comprehension how to reach. Okay, so the trial is to fill the buckets with scraps of fish. Okay, hold on. The buckets are these the bait. So do I get fish here? Okay. No, that's just turning in fish. I thought I was animating, but it was just my signet pulsing. Maybe I just take the tuna here. Put it in the bucket instead. The Arctic's tuna scraps go in this bucket. Oh, once I hand it in, I get the scraps, don't I? Yeah, okay, you pick up the scraps afterwards, and then I can throw it with this. Okay. So basically, it's after you collect a thing, be sure to take the scraps back up off of this after he's, like, you know, boned it or whatever. Deboned it. And then throw it in to a bait bucket. Yeah, alright, that's all good. Ow! Amazing. Dude, I love it. You see his animation with the friggin' fishing rod there, holding it over his head? That was very cool. Attree. Yeah, thank you for the advice there, guys. I got it. Sometimes it's easier for me to just actually play the game and like get a sense of what's going on there instead of like trying to interpret the messages on Twitch. So I get it quicker that way. Blizzard in the first half of the map. I still haven't quite figured out, does the blizzard affect this half of the map or no? Okay, good. So the child's prepared. Now we can just hand him it. That's all that we gotta do now. What did they do to Warcraft 3? Yeah, apparently the remaster wasn't very good. Everyone's on another hate train for Blizzard. It's very in vogue to talk about Blizzard's failures. I haven't actually really assessed the situation with it though, because I never played the original Warcraft. Well, original Warcraft 3 or the others. Oh my god, I've had to contribute so many here. 10 fucking fish contributed? Alright, we got it. Steve McGee, thanks so much, man. 18 months, really appreciate it. He's trying to remind you all about Twitch Prime, which you can do if you like. Don't worry about it too much, though, guys, because honestly, I've got my own fair share of shilling and begging coming up in a video later, so don't worry about that. But thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that. That's really nice of you. Everyone constantly hating on Blizzard, but when the time comes, they always pull out the credit card. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. No, I don't want to make any comment because I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm not, you know, ignore what I say about all of this. But I do think, I do wonder whether a lot of the kind of controversies that hit big studios can be attributed to the longer development time for new products nowadays. You know, it used to be that you'd get like a new game each year or every other year or whatever. Now, if you're waiting like half a decade for your franchise to do something, that's a lot of time in the meantime to become disgruntled at whatever the studio is doing. That's what I was thinking about. And then I was wondering, well, that leaves more room for indies and stuff, and that's why maybe we've had a bit of a boom there. But there's so much going on with the industry to think about, really. It is interesting. And I didn't really want to verbalize all of that because it sounds like I'm looking for excuses for ArenaNet, but for Blizzard, but that's not necessarily true. Like I say, I have no idea really what's been going on. You proudly hate Blizzard's cowardice, and I've also never supported them financially in my life. No dedicated effort, just never played their product. You didn't buy it, and you're definitely the target market. You're sick of their shit. Yeah, I mean, it's the bees, right? Everyone, if you were... last decade, Blizzard, BioWare, Bethesda. And all three of them, it's like the trinity of bees. All three of them, people have lost, like, so much faith in. And are, like, very, very resentful towards. All three of them. Oh, did I have a donation? Sorry, let me have a look at it. Holy fuck, please, no, come on, man. Look, I'm begging later. Let me do it later. I don't deserve... Well, thank you very much, Sierra, for... And Sierra, you've done that way too much as well. $25. Really nice work on the Elder Scrolls 1 arena playthrough thus far. I found my new companion while farming my way to Guam in Guild Wars 1. Keep up. Thank you so much. Are you the person that left the comment saying, I have detested whether this is good background while playing Guild Wars 2, and I've determined that the answer is yes. Was that you? Anyway, thank you. That's really, really sweet of you. That's very lovely. B for bad. Well, I don't know whether that's the root cause, but by God, you may be onto something. The reason I interrupted myself there, Doug, was because I was thinking, if I finish that sentence, I don't deserve it. And yet later today, I'm going to be asking for help in that way. It feels a bit weird, doesn't it? Obviously, there has to be a part of me that feels like I deserve it. So, yeah, I just tried to cut it off. But too late. Am I watching Picard? No, but I am rushing through Star Trek: The Original Series right now, so that I can catch up, which is what I really want to do to Picard. So far, I've tried to keep my eyes clean of it. There's 3 episodes out, right? I read someone saying it's not amazing, but it's the closest thing we've had to good Star Trek since Deep Space Nine. So I'm pretty happy to hear that, since Deep Space Nine is the best Trek so far as I can see. But yeah, so I'm nearly done with Season 2 of the original series. Once I finish Season 3 of the original series, I'm off to the movies for the first era. Once I've done the first movies, which will be way quicker, obviously. Less runtime in there. Even though there's a lot. Aren't there like 7 of them? Once I'm done with that, I'm going to watch Enterprise. Once I'm done with Enterprise, I'll watch the new movies, the shitty new movies. Once I'm done with that, I'll watch Discovery. And finally, I'm on to Picard. So I'm a bit away, really. Picard will probably be finished by the time I get there. Just because I'm not really sitting around watching TV all day. I'll maybe get like 2 episodes in, maybe. But usually it's 1. I'll put it on like while I'm eating or something. And then wander off to come do a stream or whatever else. But yeah, I hope it's good. Is it the nature of studios like this to go from big to small to big to hated, or have you seen this be avoided by certain studios? Well, it depends on your timescales, really. Like, yes, some studios avoid that. Why? Because they get bought out and go bust, right? Like, look at a studio like Bullfrog. Bullfrog never got to a point. Another B, huh? Look how perfect this is. They never got to a point where everyone was actively hating on them and, you know, discriminating against their product and stuff. But they got cut down in their prime. So, I don't know. Maybe, you know, there's that whole cliche, isn't there? But I feel like it might be a thing. You give it enough time. Here's what I really believe, all right? I believe vision and unity of mind for a community. That's what I believe in. What I mean by that is the more years go by for a certain franchise or a certain studio's development philosophies or whatever, the more disparate concepts they've introduced to their fans over the years, and it will get to the point where you can't cater to all of those concepts at once. So there are some Blizzard fans who are really, really into a form of RTS that Blizzard don't make anymore. So naturally, they're disgruntled. There are certain ArenaNet fans that are into a kind of skill system and combat pace that Guild Wars 1 did that ArenaNet don't do anymore. So they're disgruntled. So they are baggage. They still call themselves fans. They still feel enthusiasm. They're still vaguely looking. But they're resentful that what they once appreciated isn't around anymore. And our old friend nostalgia, right, really muddies the waters there. It makes us remember way more passionately the old times than they really were. So I just think it's an inevitability as the years go by and you start pursuing these different strands and collecting these different things. People can start getting annoyed. And that's like your kindling for any kind of controversy or flash bonfire you might trigger for a worthy reason later down the line. But my point is that as time passes, that kindling keeps building up and piling up and piling up. And people will always be quick to justify why they moved away or they left a fandom or whatever, or why they're still disappointed in a certain thing. So it's a really dicey prospect to continue along if you're going to keep trying to innovate and trying new ideas, because if you're leaving things behind, which you inevitably are, even within the same product, look at Guild Wars 2 and Dungeons, for example. If you're making an active decision to move away from something that people have had a taste of, they will be disgruntled about it and they will cling to it for years, if not forever, you know? Like, the whole dungeon thing is kindling for any kind of issues that ArenaNet come up against or inflict upon themselves or, you know, mess up with nowadays, you know? So I just think as time go by, that's an inevitability for people who are trying to create art and trying to move on and trying not to linger around. On the other hand, you look at stuff that doesn't deviate much and that do draw very clear lines in the sand. I think maybe you can keep that sense of unity as you go forwards. Like all these remakes, as tacky and lazy and artistically empty grinding out a new FIFA game every year is, for all of that, it still sells extremely well and has an audience that isn't disgruntled. There's very little, you know, there that's being left behind. You know, it's a simple, refined thing that, yeah, is empty on a certain level, but it's found what it's doing and it's just going for it. So there's something to be said there. You know, maybe this is the price that you pay for artistry. I'm not really sure how to really think about it, but I think that's a big point I would make. When I look at a studio like Insomniac, where they did like the Ratchet and Clanks, for example, and each Ratchet and Clank like improved on the previous in some ways, people got a bit upset where they didn't improve. Like Ratchet and Clank 2 had like the space sequences and all kinds of stuff. Loads of that got refined out. People obviously lamented that, but in general, the franchise never really deviated or changed too much. And when Insomniac decided, no, we want to do something else in the era of the PS3, they made a shooter, didn't they? Was that... Fuck, what was the Insomniac shooter? Was that Killer Instinct? That's not Killer Instinct, is it? I can't remember what it was. Anyway, that kind of flopped. That didn't do very well, but... Well, I wouldn't say it flopped, but it didn't do that well. But the thing is, it was a different franchise. There was a whole, you know, very clear delineation. We're moving on from this concept of game. We've explored it enough. Naughty Dog is probably... you can't talk about Insomniac without talking about Naughty Dog, right? And Naughty Dog is probably the best example of this. You know? After they did their Crash Bandicoot era and they felt like they'd really got what they needed to get out of it, they drew that line and they said, right, we'll do Jak and Daxter now. And then they drew a line and they said, right, we'll do Uncharted. And nowadays you kind of see a thing where maybe they've lingered with Uncharted too much, you know? But obviously you've got The Last of Us and stuff, so which is, you know, it's very clearly sort of the yin to Uncharted's yang. That's what Uncharted is, you know, tonally and gameplay-wise. So, you know, they're complementing themselves in that way. But they're being very clear what they're trying to cater to each time, and there's not much resentment. They've got there's like a clear sense of what the community should expect, and there's that unity there. I think that's the only way you can survive long term. And you even see a studio like Naughty Dog does struggle. They do wobble, you know? They do wobble. Because there are people out there that are saying, well, fuck you, where's my next Uncharted game? I don't want Last of Us 2. And you've got to, like, strive a balance there. I was going to say something else as well. Yeah, and then you could look at, like, core design, right? Core design, fucking... This is the original Tomb Raider generation, guys. If you look at what core design did, they spammed games out the ass all the way through the 90s. Spammed them, finally hit a success with Tomb Raider, and then they drove that into the ground. They themselves have openly admitted that they were really bored of making Tomb Raiders and uninterested in making those classic Tomb Raiders after 3. And by the way, they made a lot of shoddy design fuck-ups with 3 as well, which didn't kind of get realized until the sales of 4 went down and stuff. But basically, they kept doing it, right? And they didn't really change the format at all until all of a sudden, you know, what is core design now? Gone. So finding that balance long term, I think, is really hard. Let alone when you think about the business sides of it and your workers, you know, your developers, enthusiasms and shit. I have to say, guys, you know, I said earlier, if I was rich, I'd fund the development of my perfect MMO. I'm telling you, I am in love with the campaign concept that ArenaNet originally did. I think campaigns are so strong, especially in the MMO space, and no one realizes it still. There's so much value you can get out of the campaign format. It's fucking crazy. And it kind of helps in the long term with stuff like this too. Which year was FIFA crap by any means? Biggie B. I have heard, just to back up whatever Biggie B said, if he said that one of the FIFAs ended up kind of trash, I don't think sales ever really got impacted. And I think that, you know, whatever's gone on with... If you're a FIFA fan, I would say that you're a boiled frog to a certain extent. Don't worry, I'll call myself a boiled frog about this or that over, you know, my own experiences. But I do think one of them was, like, really shameless. I'm pretty sure I saw an image of, like, FIFA 2020 where you look in the stands in the background and it still just says FIFA 2019 or something. Like, they literally are just copy-pasting shit and putting the box in your hands again. I have to be really careful. I'm very prone to being quite prejudiced when it comes to FIFA. Because I tend to think of FIFA fans as like bro-duty sports fans that don't really think very much about the games they're playing. And I tend to just like totally prejudge them as like, oh, of course they're not very consumer savvy. They're playing sports games. I'm trying really hard to not go to that instinct because that cannot be right. But I think it's more just, you know, that they found the right way, the exact how little you really need to innovate if your core experience is good enough. You just kind of repackage it and make people feel like it's new and fresh again. Would I rather an Arena or Azaric remake? Arena. And that's actually because I'm a bigger fan of Azaric. Look, would I want Azaric? There's a thing about remakes that I think most people don't understand. Remakes are exciting in as much as they have made this product, whatever it is, relevant again. And people know about it, and it will perhaps catch new audiences. And it's now meaningful as far as geek culture and, you know, those around you. That is what one half of what's exciting. The other half is the actual experience of replaying the game. The truth is, you could replay a game without it being remade, but you're not doing it because the other half, in my opinion, is the really vital one, that it's relevant. If I could make Azaric really relevant and interesting to people, I would do that in a heartbeat. And a remake would accomplish that. But I don't have much confidence in, like, the quality of a remake to actually be that excited about it. Does that make sense? I don't need a remake. I would just play Azaric as it is. You know, I'd just up-res it or whatever. Apparently someone found a way to emulate it. You know, I think that is already filled, but the idea I could make it think... So yeah, I'd say Arena just because, you know... I don't like that. I know that there's the whole thing. It's like a remake doesn't really tamper with the... Maybe I'll kill the construct. Fuck it. We'll do that since I'm just wandering around. I'm looking for stuff to collect as I go. Maybe... Look, I'm one of those people that struggles with the whole idea, like, a new thing doesn't invalidate the old. Right, I get that. But I feel like I wouldn't ever want a shoddy version of Azaric to ever exist. And I wouldn't want to gamble on that risk. Dude, it's actually terrifying out at the moment. The wind is howling. I swear I heard thunder earlier. I feel like the window's going to rattle off of its hinges. Hey, Ilios, 1991. It's good to see you. Don't look at chat. Don't look at my skill execution too bad here, guys. Too close. Oh, Soul Reaver. Hell yeah, I'd be up for some Soul Reaver stuff. I mean, I can't. That's kind of one of my old loves. I'd love to go back and look at that. See how good it was. Just how cringy it was. I've told this story recently as well, but the main thing I always remember from Soul Reaver is that quote. It's possibly at the start of the game, the second game maybe or something, where it's there were only two ways out. Heads or tails. But sometimes when you flip a coin, it lands on its side. And then it like cuts to black and you get the intro cutscene or something. I think is what happens. I remember that line specifically. Now that could be a really cool line as I took it as an adolescent, or it could be a super cheesy line that's horrendous and cringy. I'd have to go back and see which of the two. Storm Kiara has knocked over my garden fences. Some dripping through, some water dripping through your roof as well. Oh god. It sounds like you wrote it just now. No, I didn't write it. It's in the game. I love that edgy shit. How cool is that? Whoa! The ultimate analogy. Ooh! Apparently, if it's a US dime or whatever, it actually has a 51% chance of landing on its head because because tail's side is heavier or something like that, or reverse. I think the head side is slightly heavier, assuming a perfect flip. But also, people have tendencies to flip from one direction or the other. That guy has a gross sound effect as he dies. Your roof slats were dropping like mad. Oh god. It's quite good because a lot of the videos you guys are going to watch coming up, it was really stormy and horrible in January as well. And I talk about the weather sometimes in some of them. And now, when you guys watch it in February, you're gonna think I'm talking about today, when I was actually talking about a whole month earlier. A restaurant near me is offering free main course to anyone named Tiara today. Ironically, it's at the coast, so it's getting battered a bit. That's hilarious, man. It's very cool. Oh, it's pronounced like Kira. You're from Scotland, so the storm isn't hitting your area as much as it is in England. It's a lovely start to the year, really. Once again, it's meant that it was dark at the start of the stream instead of light, which is what I really wanted. Alright, okay, well there you go, guys. That is, that's the stream today. Again, like I said, a little bit shorter, but I've got a lot going on. 50 minutes, there'll be a Patreon update, and we'll see what we can do. Lexu, thanks very much, man. Hope I'm having a great day. Yeah, pretty good day. Particularly considering how awful the weather is, and I haven't had to go out in it today, which is good. Yeah, 54 months as well. Thank you so much. So yeah, guys, keep your eyes out for that. And again, just a reminder, there are 2 videos on my channel already right now. One of them is all about like what ArenaNet employees that aren't there anymore have been doing. And there was an interesting thing about a Pokemon MMO that had been worked on and then cancelled that I had no idea about until I shot the video. So it's pretty cool. Please feel free to spend the next 50 minutes watching that. The video's not 50 minutes in full. And then the update thing. I really feel a lot better if by the time you get to the Patreon video, you've watched something real from me, which would be the one I put up earlier in the day. No, not Temtem. This predates Temtem. So yeah, we'll do that. Tomorrow is Arena Part 3. The day after that is Guild Wars 2 Part 2. The day after that is Arena Part 4. The day after that is Guild Wars, and so on. Like, full out. Those LPs will not stop. There will never be a break in a day again for the entire month now. Only today, with the Patreon update, is that happening, because I really need people to watch that and figure that out. So, yeah, that, after that, though, it's just flat out all the way until early March. And then whatever else I make can go on top. You've also got a Ghost of Ascon review coming. You've got a Shadow in the Ice video coming. And maybe one more I made in advance, maybe? Maybe not, though. PvP went. I'm out of PvP at the moment, Sind. I'm closing the stream right now as well. Maybe with the balance, I'll be doing it, because obviously it's a big shake-up. But I haven't played for a good chunk of time, really. And it's been very good for me as well, honestly. Getting shit done. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Those are the videos. That's how it's going. Thanks very much for the subs, the donations, all the fun stuff today. And the good chat. And I'll be back tomorrow for possibly the last stream on this map. I don't think there's anything else we'll have to do on this map after tomorrow. Just some basic events and stuff. Not bad. Yeah, I'm alternating the 2 playthroughs so that people without much time can stay up to date, right? You get 2 full days to watch an episode. So some of you can watch both series. Some of you will only have time for one series. And what you can do is you can pick which one you want to do. TES or Guild Wars, right? So the real hardcores, the big fans, you'll be here every day with me. But other people actually, you know, that way you won't fall behind. I think it's a winning formula, I think. Fingers crossed. Anyway, yeah, that's it, guys. I gotta go. Oh, yeah, you got the audiobook as well. All right, bye-bye, bye, 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 bye.